Blessed always, blessed always, for the arms of God surround us. Let our joy be so triumphant that we rest in God. Say,
Good morning. How are we doing this morning? I'm seeing thumbs up and clapping of hands. This is good. My name is Rhonda. For those of you that I've not met yet, I am filling in for Reverend Kathy this morning. She unfortunately had a death in the family, so I am stepping in for her. And I also want to introduce you to all of the people who make the service happen this morning. First of all, we have Wendy Erickson serving as worship assistant this morning, so you'll hear from her later. We have Chris Italiano in the back, who is producing the service for us this morning. He is busily adjusting buttons and making all of this go. And we have music with Bill Mann this morning. So we are so happy to have everyone here making things work. All right. So we have the opportunity this morning to settle into a service. Unity has been holding services at our main hub in Kansas City, Missouri for over 130 years. So that's kind of our home base. And we have Silent Unity there. And they have been praying 24/7 for over 130 years. So I think that's pretty impressive. So we know how to do prayer around here. We have prayer chaplains. Excuse me. We have people who do work on prayer teams. So that's a big piece of what we do here. I think that we have a vision and mission statement that is going to appear magically on the screen behind me. So our vision is our imaginings for what the perfect future for us would look like. So if you would say this with me, please. Centered in prayer, we create for all a world of love, harmony, and abundance. And then our mission, this is what we are in the business of doing here at Unity North. Celebrating spirit, exploring truths, awakening hearts, inspiring dreams, and serving community. Very good. And you can see our values listed there at the bottom of the screen. So with that, I am going to ask Bill to lead us in an opening song, if you would please stand.
Chris, that might bring that down just a little bit. This is going to be a little more vigorous than the other thing. Joyous and enthusiastic for life. I am alive, aware, and awake. Alive, aware, and awake. Joyous and enthusiastic for life. I am alive, aware, and awake. I am alive, aware, and awake. Joyous and enthusiastic for life. I see each morning as a new beginning. I greet each day as an opportunity to share. I'm breathing deep and I feel connected to all the love God's sending everywhere. I am alive, aware, and awake. Alive, aware, and awake. Joyous and enthusiastic for life. I am alive, aware, and awake. I am alive, aware, and awake. Joyous and enthusiastic for life. Joyous and enthusiastic. Joyous and enthusiastic. Joyous and enthusiastic for life. Thank you very much.
Bill, thank you, as ever, for lovely music. We are so privileged to have you here. Good morning to everyone. I'm Wendy Erickson, your worship assistant today, and this is the time in our service when we greet one another. So if you're on Zoom, please turn on your cameras if you are able. Well, we got people waving. So is anybody joining us for the first time today on Zoom? And we got people waving back at you. All right. If you can unmute, and you are, let us know where you're from. Sounds like everybody's an old timer there on Zoom. So if you're in the sanctuary today and new, can you please wave? Yeah, we got 2 new ones. Thank you for coming. And the camera's back there if you ever wanted to wave back. Sometimes you have to get a little bit closer up to see it. So let's take a minute and thank everybody for coming. It's new. Thank you for coming. We welcome you. It's our delight that you are here with us today. Now we're going to have prayer requests. So this is the time where we're going to take a moment. We're going to center ourselves. So let's take, and we're going to do prayer requests. Let's take a deep breath or 2. Kind of let the day drop. Bring yourself here, present, just us here. That centering started with the time we took to greet one another, just so you know. As you continue to breathe in, bring peace, love, and joy within, and releasing worry, fear, those things that are stressful, on our exhales. So instead of saying our requests aloud, we invite you to speak a name or prayer request silently in this sanctuary. I do have one that I want all of us to also hold, and that is for Reverend Kathy and her family. Her sister Cheryl passed away this week. She's in Walnut Creek, California. She was 83 years old. So please hold the family in comfort and peace, as well as your own prayer request. Take a deep breath and hold those requests. We give thanks in advance for answered prayers. And with a strong heart, we say, thank you, God, and so it is. Amen. Please remain centered as I read our daily word. Today's daily word for Sunday, March 19th, 2023, is comfort. I find comfort in expressions of love. Speaking the words, I love you, provides comfort for an aching heart and peace in times of uncertainty. Today, I open my heart to those loving expressions as a soothing balm for distress or grief. When I am concerned about another, love centers me in the truth that all is in divine order, no matter how circumstances appear. I enfold the people I care about in a sphere of love, encircling them in peace and protection. When I am troubled, I find comfort in others' loving words. I surround myself with those who offer solace in my time of need. I find encouragement in their kindness and compassion. As we share of ourselves in kind and loving ways, we hearten spirits and bolster faith, giving comfort to ourselves and others. From 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 17, comfort your hearts and strengthen them in every good work and word. Today's daily word for March 19th is comfort. I find comfort in expressions of love. Thank you, Bill. You will be leading us in meditation song.
I am still, I'll be still inside. I am free. I let go. Oh, I hold sweet release until I am still.
I ask you to settle into your chairs. Take a deep breath. Let your eyes gently close. Spend a minute noticing your breath. Feel your chest expand as you inhale. And then feel it get a bit smaller as you exhale. Breathing in and out. Feel the air travel through your nose all the way down to your belly. Then feel as it leaves your body. We're going to focus on our chakras this morning. We will begin with the root chakra. Imagine that you have a beam of light entering the base of your spine. This is your first chakra. Color is red. Check in with your root chakra. This is about energy, stability, comfort, and safety. How are you doing in those areas? Imagine everything at the base of your spine filled with the color red as you breathe in and out. Imagine that you can breathe into the base of your spine. See that area filled with the color red. Energy, stability, comfort, and safety. Swirling with that beam of light at the base of your spine. Breathing into your root chakra. Next, we move up to the area just around your navel. This is your sacral chakra. The color is orange. Pause a moment at the sacral chakra. This is related to our sensuality. It is also about our social lives. How are you doing in that department? See that area right around your belly button, filled with the color orange. See your interactions with others and your sensuality, taking a bath in all of that beautiful orange light. Breathing orange. Next, we move up a couple of inches to the solar plexus. Color is yellow. Spend some time with the solar plexus. This is about strength and personality. This is the home for our power and determination. How are you doing with those things? See this area filled with yellow light, providing strength, amplifying your personality, giving you an added boost of power and determination. Soaking up all of that yellow. Moving up a bit now, we go to the heart chakra. We all know where our heart is. The color is green. Check in with your heart chakra. Here we find compassion, love, acceptance, and sincerity. How is your heart chakra? see your heart space filled with green light. Today you have an added measure of compassion, love. You notice more acceptance and sincerity in your life. Breathe in the color green. Next, we move to our throat chakra. The color for this chakra is a light blue. Take a moment to focus on this area of your body. This is your communication center. This is also about expression, inspiration, and creativity. How are you doing in those areas right now? Breathe in that beautiful light blue. Better communication, more inspiration and creativity being expressed by you. Now we move up to our third eye. This is located on your forehead, right in between your eyes. Color is dark blue. Pause for a moment. Breathe right into this area of the body. This chakra is about intuition and trust. How are you doing with intuition and trust right now? Feel them getting bigger, stronger, more expressive. Our last stop is the crown chakra. This is located at the crown of your head. Imagine where a crown would sit. That is your crown chakra. Color is purple. Focus now on the crown of your head. This is about knowledge and fulfillment. It is also about consciousness and spirituality. How are those areas of your life right now? Imagine another beam of light coming into your body at the crown of your head. One more cleansing breath. Having tended to all of your chakras, ground yourself here on the earth. Anchor your feet on the floor. Feel your chair supporting you. You can keep those beams of light coming into your spine and into the top of your head. Hold on to those for today. When you're ready, you can open your eyes.
From just a simple seed, the mighty redwood trees free. But there's something it still needs to make it grow. The petals of the sweetest rose come into life tightly closed, and and what helps them to unfold. A secret we all know. It's all a part of opening, all a part of each and everything. And everywhere we turn, a simple miracle is flowing like a river to the sea. And the love that lies within our heart, we want so much to make a start, but first we have to do our part and give that love away. And when our courage comes at last, when our fears are finally past, we see that life can change so fast. When love comes out to play, it's all a part of opening, all a part of spreading our own wings. Everywhere we turn, a simple miracle is flowing like a river to the sea. And we sing a song, riding on the melody and searching for the harmony. And we're right where we belong, trusting in the truth we know, following wherever it goes, 'cause it's all a part of opening, all a part of each and everything. Everywhere we turn, a simple miracle is flowing like a river to the sea. It's all a part of opening, all a part of spreading our own wings. Everywhere we turn, a simple miracle is flowing like a river to the sea. And opening,
Thank you, Bill. At the pearly gates, St. Peter greeted a minister and a congressman and gave them their room assignments. Pastor, here are the keys to one of our nicest efficiency units. And for you, Mr. Congressman, the keys to our finest penthouse suite. That is unfair, cried the minister. Listen, St. Peter said, ministers are a dime a dozen up here, but this is the first congressman we've seen in a long time. Later that day, at the pearly gates again, a taxi driver and a minister are waiting in line. St. Peter consults his list and says to the taxi driver, take this silken robe and golden staff and enter the kingdom of heaven. St. Peter next greets the minister, saying, take this cotton robe and wooden staff and enter the kingdom of heaven. Now, just a minute, says the minister. This man is a taxi driver, and he gets a silken robe and a golden staff, while I get a cotton robe and a wooden staff? How can that be? Up here, we work by results, says St. Peter. While you preached, people slept. While he drove, people prayed. There are 4 times on our calendar when we pay special attention to the amount of sun and the amount of dark that we have. In March, we have the spring equinox. In September, we have the fall equinox. Those are times when we have roughly the same amount of sunlight and darkness during a day and a night. In December, we have the winter solstice, which is the longest night with the shortest day. In June, we have the summer solstice with the longest day and the shortest night of the year. Today, we are approaching the spring equinox. This is when the axis of the earth is tipped just right so that we have balance between light and darkness. This is a perfect time to think about the balance in our own lives. We have an invitation from the universe to examine the balance we have on a day-to-day basis. Do we have enough fun and enough work? Do we have enough alone time and enough group or family time? Do we have balance in saving and spending? And the list goes on. How are we doing? It's time to take our temperature, so to speak. Where do we maybe need to do some adjusting? One of the ways that Charles Fillmore suggests that we bring balance and harmony to our lives is through music. He offers this example. The healing power of music, which is heralded as a modern discovery by those who are practicing it in hospitals, is not new. The fact is, this method of healing has always been recognized and practiced. The most striking illustration being the universal lullabies, which mothers sing to soothe their tired children. In every nation and in every tongue, the lullaby has its place. Every child has been harmonized mentally and physically by its mother's song. The copyright for this book was 1967, so I suppose at that time, music as healing in hospitals maybe was new. Anyway, Charles reminds us that this healing power of music is utilized by mothers around the globe when a child is sick or overly tired. Music brings harmony to children of all ages. Metaphysicians have discovered that a harmonious arrangement of ideas in mind produces harmony in the body. That within the 5 avenues of expression called the senses, there are certain thoughts that can be adjusted one to another. The mind and body can be filled with such harmony that a song of joy springs forth. Adjusting our thoughts one to the other. It's like getting our ducks in a row in our brains. Once we get our thinking in order, we are able to experience harmony in the body, in our 5 senses. When we really have our act together, we might burst into song unexpectedly. Back to Charles. If dry sand is placed on a plate and a violin bow is drawn across the plate, the sand will arrange itself in symmetrical forms. It is possible that the earth took form from the harmonious vibrations of the word, and it may be that God is singing the universe into expression this very moment. What a beautiful image, God singing the universe into expression. Most of the time when we think of the word being used to create things, we think about the first chapter of Genesis. I don't know about you, but I've always thought about that in the past tense. The heavens and the earth are created. All of the creatures are created, and it's done. And that might be how it happened. And according to Charles, it is happening right now, in this moment as well. Charles continues. As time in music is merely a measure of pulsations, so years are measures of events. Time, therefore, being but a measure, is under your control. You can diminish or increase the movement at will. Once we have mastered creating harmony, we have the ability to control our experience of time. I can't wait to play with that idea. Remember that Charles was a great experimenter. He would hear an idea and then try it out. If it didn't work for him, then it didn't have any value and he would promptly get rid of it. I'm looking forward to trying that one. Balance creates harmony. When I have harmony within, I participate in the expression of creating every moment in time. After that, I can control my experience of the passage of time. I have a story about the passage of time. This one is called Johnny's Dust. After church, Johnny tells his parents he has to go and talk to the minister right away. They agree, and the pastor greets the family. "Pastor," Johnny says, "I heard you say today that our bodies came from the dust." "That's right, Johnny, I did," he says. "And I heard you say that when we die, our bodies go back to dust." "Yes, I'm glad you were listening," the pastor replies. "Why do you ask?" "Well, you better come over to our house right away and look under my bed, because there's someone either coming or going." So we're talking about balance and harmony, and this is timely because of the spring equinox tomorrow. Technically, although there is still piles of snow here in Minnesota, tomorrow is the first day of spring. I know, I chuckled at that too. That's what the calendar tells us. I think of this as closing one chapter of my life and beginning another. I might spend a bit of time looking back, but only long enough to see where I need to make some adjustments. I don't want to spend too much energy in the past. I want to focus on the present and creating what I want to manifest in the future. If I have fallen into a habit that is not serving me, I take note of it and then I move on. It's a quick look in the mirror. What do I want to call this next chapter of my life? Where is it that I wish to go? This can be a time of new beginnings. In Scripture, we find an example of a new beginning in the Gospel of Luke. This is the story of the prodigal son. We find this in Luke 15:11 through 24. Then Jesus said, "There was a man who had 2 sons. The younger of them said to his father, 'Father, give me the share of the property that will belong to me.' So he divided his property between them. A few days later, the younger son gathered all he had and traveled to a distant country. And there he squandered his property in dissolute living. When he had spent everything, a severe famine took place throughout that country, and he began to be in need. So he went and hired himself out to one of the citizens of that country, who sent him to his fields to feed the pigs. He would gladly have filled himself with the pods that the pigs were eating, and no one gave him anything. But when he came to himself, he said, 'How many of my father's hired hands have bread enough and to spare? But here I am dying of hunger. I will get up and go to my father, and I will say to him, Father, I have sinned against heaven and before you. I am no longer worthy to be called your son. Treat me like one of your hired hands.' So he set off and went to his father. But while he was still far off, his father saw him and was filled with compassion. He ran and put his arms around him and kissed him. Then the son said to him, 'Father, I have sinned against heaven and before you. I am no longer worthy to be called your son.' But the father said to his slaves, 'Quickly, bring out a robe, the best one, and put it on him. Put a ring on his finger and sandals on his feet. And get the fatted calf and kill it, and let us celebrate. For this son of mine was dead and is alive again. He was lost and is found.' And they began to celebrate." So some background might be helpful here. There are some references that we might not know about living in the United States. In the East, there is often jealousy between brothers. The eldest son is the one who will inherit the biggest portion of his family's wealth. As we know, that story ends with the older brother being jealous and angry with his father. The eldest son is consulted on decisions about the family farm or business. The eldest son gets the biggest, tastiest portions at a meal. The eldest son wears clothes that are slightly better than his siblings. This often causes jealousy. The younger sons have a nice life too, but not quite as nice as the oldest. In this culture, daughters have very little power. They don't inherit anything. Mothers don't have much power or authority either. It was not uncommon for younger sons to move away. They wanted to make a name for themselves. They wanted to have a voice, have a life. The thing is, in this case, that idea didn't turn out very well. as sometimes happens when we are young. He squandered his money, and he didn't use his resources very well. The next thing that happens is very important. The son is starving. The pigs he is taking care of are eating better than he does, and they are eating pods and husks from corn. It's important to note that caring for pigs would be a great insult in this culture. They are unclean. In other words, this son has reached rock bottom. But he realizes that he has made a mistake, and that is the important thing. He goes home. On his way home, he rehearses what he will say to his father. He has his apology ready. When he gets home, all is forgiven. His father gives him clothing and shoes and jewelry. Robes are worn at festivals. They are not something that you would wear to get ready to go to work. Also, slaves would go barefoot. Those with money can afford to put shoes on their feet. The ring is a symbol of authority. The son is re-established as royalty. He's wearing clothing for a party. That party would not have been a small family meal, it would have been a feast. All of the neighbors and friends would come. He has shoes on his feet to signify that he is not a slave, and he has a ring to show his authority. It is interesting to note that the younger son's mother could have been the one to come up with the idea to welcome him home. Reconciliation was the mother's department, after all, not the father's. The things that happen in the household, no matter whose idea they were credited to the man of the house. When guests showed up for the party, they would have congratulated the father on his son's safe return. This would happen even if it was his wife's idea, her words and actions, that resulted in the son returning home. The story of the prodigal son is often portrayed as a story about returning to God, the Father, returning to the church after we have strayed. However, this can also be a story about starting over. The son has ideas and he's excited to see the world. That doesn't work out and he has to go back and try again. In metaphysics, we need to examine the symbolism and then apply it somehow to our own lives. Meta beyond, physics physical. Beyond the obvious physical meaning. So what will we do with this story? Where do we need to go back and try again? Where do we need to adjust our crowns and remember where we came from? Another funny story. A couple had 2 little boys, ages 8 and 10, so 2 more sons. They were excessively mischievous. The 2 were always getting into trouble, and their parents could be assured that if any mischief occurred in their town, their 2 young sons were in some way involved. The parents were at their wits' end as to what to do about their son's behavior. The mother had heard that a clergyman in town had been successful in disciplining children in the past, so she asked her husband if he thought they should send the boys to speak with the clergyman. The husband said, "We might as well. We have to do something." The clergyman agreed to speak with the boys, but he asked to see them individually, and the 8-year-old went to meet with him first. The clergyman sat the boy down and asked him sternly, "Where is God?" The boy made no response, so the clergyman repeated the question in an even sterner tone. "Where is God?" Again, the boy made no attempt to answer, so the clergyman raised his voice and shook his finger at the boy. "Where is God?" At that, the boy bolted from the room and ran home. He hid in the closet, and his older brother followed him in and asked him what had happened. The younger brother replied, "We are in big trouble this time. God is missing, and they think we did it." A story about trouble with son seemed appropriate after the prodigal son. One more before we go. An inexperienced preacher was to hold a graveside burial service at a pauper cemetery for an indigent man with no family or friends. Not knowing where the cemetery was, he made several wrong turns and got lost. When he eventually arrived at a late hour, the hearse was nowhere in sight. The backhoe was next to the open hole, and the workmen were sitting under a tree eating lunch. The diligent young pastor went on to the open grave and found the vault lid already in place. Feeling guilty because of his tardiness, he preached an impassioned and lengthy service, sending the deceased to the great beyond in style. As he returned to his car, he overheard one of the workmen say to another, "I've been putting in septic tanks for 20 years, and I have never seen anything like that." We are about to spring forth into a new chapter of our lives. It's time to ask ourselves what we wish to do with that opportunity. Tomorrow is the first day of spring. What seeds will you plant? Which thoughts will you hold? What will you call this next chapter of your life? Thank you.
If life is a mystery, where do the answers lie? Perhaps they wait to set me free. Here between the lines, the line down the center of the highway that leads me from there to here is only recognized through opened eyes as my inner vision clear. The poet and the artist in rapture at the sight of what is rarely seen, or dancing on the edge of a razor in the middle of a sacred stream. At every turn it waits for me to choose between the day and the night, the dark and the light, where the mystery shares its clues. Life in the balance, every moment in a timeless world. There lies the challenge of life in the balance. Subtle sigh of a siren song that only the mad ones hear. It's a golden gift only given to those who will face their fear. And I climb to the top of the mountain, 'cause I've got no other choice, to hear the wisdom whispering in a thundering silent voice, never close but never far away, awakened from a dream. What does it mean when illusion finally fades? Life in the balance, every moment in a timeless world. There lies the challenge of life in the balance. I've been trying to understand what can't be understood. Hold it clearly in my mind, if I only could. But there are times when you just can't know, when the completely unexpected shows, and you just have to let it go and follow the flow of life in the balance. Every moment in a timeless world, there lies the challenge of life in the balance. Each of us in a timeless world, that's the challenge of life in the balance. Life in the balance. Life in the balance. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Bill. That's a perfect song. Perfect song. It is now time in our service to bless our offerings. Since we aren't collecting them live, we invite you to go to our website, unitynorthmn.org, and find the donation button on the homepage and give your offering there. For those of you in our building, please leave your offering in the basket by the door. And if you prefer to mail a check, you can send it to our address, which is also on our website. So let us speak together our offering blessing. Join me. Divine love flowing through me now blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And I am grateful. Bill has a song for us for our offering.
My gift goes forth on the wings of love, and it lands where it can yield and bless. It returns to me, multiplied 1,000-fold, and the universe says yes, yes, and the universe says yes. 'Cause God is the source, each of us channel, guiding the good, flowing divine, one endless source, infinite blessings. Praise the Creator, thy will is mine.
And now it is time for announcements. Healing according to Charles Fillmore. That is going to be our class that is coming up with Reverend Kathy, starting this Wednesday, March 22nd, through April 12th, which is 4 weeks. It's from 6:30 to 8 p.m. on Zoom. And in this class, you're going to learn about some of the healing methods of Jesus, according to Charles Fillmore, and discover mental and spiritual laws that can be utilized. We're going to discuss who Jesus was, his purpose. Remember that all changes for good or ill are changes of mind. And if you have the book, please read the first 3 chapters before the class starts. Make note of any passages that do speak to you, and if you don't have the book, some helpful handout material will be sent before the first class. There will be a celebration of life service for Stephen Martin. He was the husband of Reverend Barba, who was our interim pastor for almost a year. Yep. And that will be Saturday, this coming Saturday, March 25th at 11 a.m. at Unity, Minneapolis. We all sometimes remember it as Unity Golden Valley, but it's in Golden Valley. Reverend Pat Williamson will be presiding, and the visitation is from 10 to 11. The service will be at 11, and there'll be a meal following. Family table drive-through is coming up this Thursday, March 23rd, 5 p.m. It's our boiled dinner. Yes, celebrating, it's just wonderful. If you would like to help pack and serve the meals, contact Kathleen Bailey by phone, and we've got her phone number here, 763-442-1825, or by email at outreach@unitynorthmn.org. Cleaning day at Unity North is Sunday, March 26th. It's next Sunday. And we would like for assistance to help us beautify the inside of our building. Obviously, we're not doing outside because we still have, 2-3 feet of snow out there. Some places deeper, depending on how you've had to blow your snow. Feel free to bring any cleaning supplies from home. Monday, March 27th from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. is marking your calendar. This is a big one. It's a fundraiser. Fundraiser. I love that. It's at Baker Square, Riverdale, in Coon Rapids. So you can have a breakfast, a lunch, a dinner with family and friends at Baker Square. You can also do takeout. So order it and take it with you. Please register early so we know we are committed to the fundraiser. It's easy to register. There's a button on the website, and it's Commit to Eat. You enter your name and an email. You can add up to 2 guests on 1 confirmation. The registration link, again, unitynorthmn.org/dine, D-I-N-E. If you have not registered by the last minute, you can just show up, but you need to mention when you get there, you're there for Unity North, because then the proceeds, part of the proceeds will go to us as a fundraiser. So we'll get 20% of the sales. Today, our prayer chaplain is Susan Marie Lawler, 612-850-2129. Please call her with any prayer requests that you may have. We are here to serve you. I'm turning it over to Rhonda.
All right. We have our community affirmation coming. There we go. So if you would join me, please. Centered in prayerful intention, we give thanks for an overflowing abundance of spiritual awakening, prosperity, new members, and children for Unity North Spiritual Center. There we go. And before we do the prayer for protection, I want to thank everyone who has helped with the service this morning. Wendy Erickson as our worship assistant, Bill Mann as musician, and Chris Italiano as our producer. So thank you, thank you. Very good. And next, our prayer for protection. There we go. With me, please. The light of God surrounds us. I am the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. I am the love of God. The power of God protects us. I am the power of God. The presence of God watches over us. I am the presence of God. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Very good. So you are all invited to stay for some social time after the service. And we have the peace song. Thank you, Nancy. I was getting out of order there. We'll close with the peace song. But please stay.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with thee. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God as our Creator, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With